Our journey today begins Myanmar, which was once known as Burma. Here, in the silt-laden waters near Yangon, lies one of the world's most enduring archaeological mysteries, the lost Great Bell of Dhammazedi. Cast in 1484 by King Dhammazedi of the Mon people, this bell was more than a religious object. It was an object meant to embody power, unity, and devotion. According to chronicles, it was forged with an alloy of copper, but also enriched, incredibly, with gold and silver. Some say it was the largest bell ever cast. Historical records suggest it weighed close to 300 tons, dwarfing Moscow's Tsar bell of 216 tons, which cracked before it was ever rang. Dhammazedi's bell was said to have rang true, and was more than double the size of the next largest functioning bell, the Bell of Good Luck in China, which weighs 116 tons. This leads us to the first mystery surrounding the bell: its manufacture. How a bell that industrial nations would greatly struggle to replicate today came to be cast in 1484 is something of a mystery. The collection of alloys needed to make the bell, the mold of over 20 meters in height, the delicate cooling needed to prevent any cracks or fractures, and the installation of this massive object so that it functioned correctly, all whisper to the expertise of those who engineered this marvel. Perhaps, therefore, we need to increase our awareness of the wealth and technological ability of the Mon people. Although controlling the relatively small area of Lower Burma, the empire reigned from the 11th to the 16th centuries, and was known as a cultural powerhouse. The Kalyani inscriptions from the 15th century tell of major building projects from the time, including many religious structures, many large bells, and the Great Bell itself. This investment of so much wealth and expertise into massive bells may also cause us to ponder the function and significance of bells to the ancients. Some speculate that a bell of this size, when rung, would have been heard for miles, and would have had a deep impact on the people of the surrounding area. An impact the introduction of gold and silver may well have enhanced. And yet, in 1608, the Great Bell of Dhammazedi, the biggest bell there ever was, vanished. Enter into our story Felipe de Brito, a Portuguese mercenary who had established a rogue stronghold in Tanyan. Historical accounts suggest that, by 1603, de Brito had built a considerable private army composed of Portuguese soldiers, local mercenaries, and enslaved people. De Brito's aim was to carve out his own independent kingdom, and, as a Christian, had identified raiding Buddhist sites as a source of wealth and plunder. It is believed that the siege of the Great Bell occurred during such a raid. The Burmese Chronicles tells us that de Brito's intention was to break the cultural spirit of the region by seizing the bell and melting it down for gold in cannon shot. He had been known for melting down statues and bells from other such raids, and therefore it seems credible he would go after the greatest, most valuable bell in history. It is said that on a night in 1608, de Brito's forces seized upon the Shwe de Gon pagoda and captured the Great Bell. They placed it upon a massive raft to carry their prize across the Bago River, back to de Brito's Tanyan stronghold. The Burmese chronicles say what happened next. The raft collapsed under the immense weight, and the bell sank into the depths, along with all men and materials. And as far as we know, the Great Bell of Dhammazedi still resides there today. Or, as the oral tradition of the Mon people put it, there it still sings under the water. Most accounts place the bell's resting place at the confluence between the Yangon and Bago rivers, and recent searches seem to confirm this. In the 1990s, for example, the famous marine salver, Mike Hatcher, who was known for uncovering the Nanking cargo in 1986, ventured into the river's murky waters with sonar and underwater drones. He claimed to have found a massive bell-shaped anomaly, but lacked the funding and government backing needed to recover it. In 2000, a Burmese monk named U Tithara led a spiritual expedition for the bell. Asserting he could divine the bell's location through meditative insight, he claimed to see a vision of the bell while meditating near the confluence of the two rivers,
and although this expedition did not officially locate the bell, it did ignite modern interest in the bell, especially within Myanmar. This interest would manifest itself in 2010 when an international dive team mounted a high-tech operation using ground-penetrating sonar. The team also detected a massive bell-shaped shadow at a depth of over 25 meters, and a follow-up expedition in 2020, which used improved imaging technology, confirmed this. The findings of all expeditions were consistent with the size and form expected of the Dhammazedi bell. After this point, however, the political situation in Myanmar has made approval for foreign-led salvage missions difficult to acquire, especially since the technological effort needed to raise a 300-ton bell, which is roughly the same weight as a Boeing 747, would be a massive operation requiring a very large team. Beyond this, there's also the religious considerations to take into account. The bell is associated with the Shwedagon Pagoda, a sacred Buddhist site. Some monks and local leaders believe the bell is settled under the water, and therefore disturbing it could bring misfortune or karmic disruption to Myanmar. As a result, public support for recovery is mixed, especially among devout Buddhists. And so, the mystery of the Great Bell of Dhammazedi remains, and has become part of the charm and the story of Myanmar. Will we ever get to see the magnificence of the largest bell ever cast? Who knows? But if you listen closely, traveler, maybe you will be able to hear the sound of a bell singing under the water, or maybe it was just a whisper in time.